I mean, I really I had just become a member of the Actors Studio, and I didn't really want to do.
Gilligan's Island has been remembered as one of television's most charming and innocent shows. A light-hearted escape filled with slapstick humor, unforgettable characters, and the simple dream of finding a way off that mysterious island. But behind the laughter, behind the tropical sunshine, and behind the iconic theme song that millions still hum today, the cast carried a secret, one that fans never figured out, and one they only began to speak about years later. What the world saw was a group of castaways trapped together in a never-ending cycle of hilarious misadventures. What they lived, however, was something far more emotional, far more complicated, and far more surprising than anyone watching at home could have imagined. Even lifelong fans who have rewatched every episode have missed the truth, a truth the cast kept hidden not out of shame, but because no one would have believed it if they had said it at the time, long after the show ended. Several cast members finally opened up. They revealed unexpected tensions, secret alliances, heartbreaking struggles, and a behind-the-scenes bond that was deeper than anything written into the script. They spoke of private moments, silent sacrifices, and the real reason the show felt so magical. Even though the production itself was far from easy. Today, that secret is no longer hidden. And once you hear what the cast finally revealed, you'll never watch Gilligan's Island the same way again. Because the truth behind the show, the truth most fans never figured out, is both shocking and strangely beautiful. When Gilligan's Island first aired in 1964, audiences thought they were watching a simple, wholesome sitcom meant to entertain families for half an hour a week. But what most people never realized was that the cast felt something much deeper happening. From the very beginning, a connection that didn't match the light-hearted tone of the script. The 7 cast members were strangers brought together by television executives, yet within weeks, they developed a chemistry so natural and powerful that even network insiders were stunned. The cast later admitted that they knew instantly the show would become something special, long before the rest of the world caught on. One of the biggest secrets fans never figured out was how emotionally close the actors truly became. During filming, while viewers saw a group of castaways simply trying to survive quirky disasters, the actors behind them were quietly forming friendships that would last a lifetime. Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann, revealed that the bond among the cast was unlike anything she experienced before or after the show. She said they weren't just co-stars, they were a chosen family, leaning on each other through long workdays, personal struggles, and the pressures of sudden fame. Another surprising truth was how protective the cast members were of one another. Many fans assumed that competition and ego were common behind the scenes, especially in a growing industry where everyone wanted to stand out. But in reality, the cast spent years fighting for each other during contract negotiations, script changes, and even disagreements with producers. Bob Denver, the beloved Gilligan himself, was known for stepping forward whenever a co-star was treated unfairly. He even threatened to walk off the show at one point unless his colleagues received the credit and equal treatment they deserved. It was a bold move at a time when actors had very little leverage, and it revealed just how united the cast truly was. But the emotional truth goes deeper. The comedic energy seen on screen wasn't created by writers. It grew naturally out of the cast's genuine affection for each other. They often improvised small moments, shared inside jokes, and added personal touches to scenes that only they understood. Fans thought the charm of the show came from the silly plot lines, but the cast later admitted the magic came from something far stronger, their real-life connection, which radiated through every episode. What fans also never realized was that many of the actors were dealing with private hardships while filming. Some faced financial struggles, others dealt with failing marriages, and a few battled intense self-doubt about their careers. Yet they always supported one another silently, offering comfort, encouragement, and friendship when cameras were off. The island may have been fictional, but their loyalty was not. Even technical challenges brought them closer. Filming in hot studio lights, wearing uncomfortable costumes, and spending long hours on set created stress that could have torn a less united group apart. Instead, the cast laughed through it, pulled together, and found strength in each other. Russell Johnson, the professor, once said that the cast learned to lean on one another not because they had to, but because they genuinely cared. Most fans thought Gilligan's Island was just a cheerful sitcom with simple humor. But behind the palm trees and coconut props, there was a story of deep friendship, resilience, and human warmth. The cast created a family while pretending to play one. And that unbreakable bond is the real reason the show still feels special today. Their connection wasn't written in the script. It was something hidden, heartfelt, and completely real. One of the most surprising things the cast eventually revealed was how misunderstood the show was by television critics. While viewers adored the series, many critics dismissed Gilligan's Island as too silly or too unrealistic, never seeing the deeper charm that made the show thrive. What audiences didn't know was that these harsh reviews quietly affected the cast, especially in the early years. Several actors admitted they felt embarrassed reading the criticism, worried they might be part of a project the industry didn't respect. But instead of allowing negativity to divide them, the cast grew even closer. They supported one another through the discouragement, reminding themselves that what mattered most was the laughter and joy they brought into people's homes. The group also revealed that they often sensed they were creating a timeless show, even when the network didn't acknowledge it. They could feel it during rehearsals, between takes, and especially in their off-camera conversations. The chemistry was too natural, too genuine to be accidental. They understood that the world needed something simple, comforting, and bright, and they were giving exactly that, even if executives couldn't see its value at the time. This feeling helped them push through countless challenges that fans never knew existed. Another truth most viewers never figured out was how hard the cast worked physically. Despite the goofy tone of the show, filming was demanding. Long hours under brutal studio lights, complex physical comedy, and constant retakes drained their energy daily. Alan Hale Jr., known for playing the skipper, routinely injured himself performing stunts. Yet he refused to complain or take breaks because he didn't want production to fall behind. His dedication became legendary among the cast. Even when he was hurt, he kept smiling, kept joking, and kept lifting everyone's spirits, a level of loyalty and strength his co-stars never forgot. The cast also revealed that some of the show's most iconic moments were entirely unscripted. Little expressions, funny reactions, and subtle character quirks came straight from the actors themselves. These spontaneous touches weren't accidents. They were a result of the deep trust the cast had in each other. They felt safe experimenting, knowing their co-stars would always support the moment. Many fans watched these scenes thinking they were simply clever writing, but in truth, they were glimpses of the real personalities behind the characters. One of the biggest secrets the cast kept for years was how often they shielded one another from backstage conflicts. Producers sometimes pushed for changes the actors didn't agree with. There were heated arguments about screen time, jokes that didn't feel right, or character shifts that didn't match the spirit of the series. But instead of fighting individually, the cast always acted as a unit. If one cast member felt unheard, the others stepped in. If someone was being overlooked, the rest made sure their presence was acknowledged. The unity on that set was so rare that visiting crew members often talked about it long after their work ended. Don Wells once shared that the cast would frequently meet privately to ensure they all felt comfortable, respected, and valued. They didn't want anyone to feel overshadowed or forgotten, especially in an ensemble where every character mattered. These quiet meetings were never advertised and never leaked to the public, but they were crucial in maintaining the harmony that made the show feel so warm on screen. And perhaps the most surprising revelation of all was how much the cast genuinely loved their characters. They weren't just playing roles, they were protecting them. They wanted the world to love these 7 castaways as deeply as they did. Their commitment came from the heart, not from the paycheck. And fans can still feel that sincerity today. What most fans never realized was how much the cast's personal lives shaped the emotional tone of Gilligan's Island. While the show was filled with slapstick humor and goofy adventures, several actors were quietly dealing with real struggles that rarely made headlines. These challenges, though hidden from viewers, strengthened the bond among the cast and deepened the performances that appeared on screen. Bob Denver, for example, was naturally shy and soft-spoken, the complete opposite of Gilligan's upbeat, chaotic energy. Off camera, he preferred quiet moments, avoided the spotlight, and struggled with the pressure of fame. His co-stars often helped him through the overwhelming moments, offering reassurance whenever he felt uncertain about his growing popularity. Their support helped him deliver the effortless charm fans loved, even during times when he didn't feel confident. Another surprising truth the cast revealed was the admiration they had for each other's talents. They weren't just colleagues reciting lines. They were fans of one another. Tina Louise, who played Ginger, was often described as elegant and reserved, but the cast shared that she was incredibly focused and dedicated. Despite rumors over the years that she felt disconnected from the group, her co-stars later clarified that she simply had a different working style. In fact, several of them praised her professionalism and the glamour she brought to the show. They also revealed she often helped refine scenes quietly behind the camera, offering suggestions that made comedic timing stronger or character reactions more genuine. This side of her, observant, thoughtful, and supportive, was something most fans never knew. Dawn Wells brought warmth to the set that extended far beyond what viewers saw as Mary Ann. She was known for greeting everyone with kindness, from lead actors to crew members who never appeared on screen. Her compassion often set the emotional tone of the day. When someone was struggling or feeling discouraged, she was the first to notice and the first to comfort. The cast later admitted that the show's sense of heart and innocence came largely from her presence. She treated everyone like family, and that energy seeped into every episode, giving the show its signature softness. The cast also opened up about the sacrifices they made for one another. Alan Hale Jr., the beloved skipper, became famous for offering help without ever being asked. Crew members often told stories of him carrying heavy equipment, sharing his meal with someone who missed lunch, or staying late to help solve a problem that wasn't his responsibility. His kindness was not an act, it was who he was. The cast said he made the set feel safe, supportive, and full of laughter. Even during stressful days, viewers saw a fatherly figure on screen. But the real man behind the character was even more loving and generous. Russell Johnson, known for playing the professor, was admired by the entire cast for his intelligence and curiosity. Off camera, he shared stories of life before acting, asked thoughtful questions, and often helped lighten situations with gentle humor. He also supported his co-stars through emotional difficulties, offering wisdom that stayed with them for years. The cast later revealed that the professor's calm, steady presence on the island reflected Russell's own temperament. Fans loved the character's logic, but what they didn't know was that the actor behind him was the real anchor of the group. Even Jim Backus, who played the wealthy and dramatic Thurston Howell III, surprised everyone with his generosity. He frequently bought lunches for the cast, handed out small gifts, and made sure everyone felt appreciated. His playful jokes, cheerful attitude, and constant positivity kept spirits high. Even when filming became exhausting, all these moments, intimate, unspoken, and rarely acknowledged, shaped the emotional landscape of the show. Fans saw 7 castaways surviving impossible odds, but behind the scenes, the actors were supporting one another through real challenges, forming bonds deeper than anyone watching could have imagined. What the world never figured out, what even the most loyal viewers missed, is how deeply the cast relied on each other long after the show ended. Behind the funny scenes, they had formed a quiet, unbreakable circle, and in their final years, those bonds revealed truths no script ever could. For Bob Denver, the years after the island were filled with an unexpected stillness. Fans always thought of him as the energetic, clumsy hero, but off-screen, he preferred quiet days with his family. The fame never mattered to him as much as people believed. What he cherished was the deep connection he had formed with his co-stars. When health problems began affecting him later in life, he refused to let the public see his struggle. But Dawn Wells stayed in touch constantly. They spoke often, sharing memories about moments no audience ever witnessed. She once said he was the softest soul she had ever known. Dawn Wells herself carried secrets that would only be revealed years later. To fans, she was the sweet girl next door, the heart of the island. But privately, life had become much harder. Financial troubles, medical issues, and the emotional weight of losing her castmates slowly settled on her shoulders. Yet she never complained. She continued helping charities, visiting fans, and representing the show with pride. In her final interviews, she admitted that the island wasn't just a set, it was the happiest time of my life. Those words carried a depth only her fellow cast members truly understood. Then there was Alan Hale Jr., the skipper everyone adored. Many fans never realized just how much he protected his co-stars behind the scenes. When producers pushed for changes or harder schedules, he stepped forward every single time. He was the kind of man who believed in kindness as a responsibility. Even after the show ended, he supported the cast in ways the public never saw. When Jim Backus fell ill, Hale visited him often, bringing stories, laughter, and warmth to his hospital room. That friendship lasted until the very end. Jim Backus himself had one of the most hidden struggles from the group. He was always the one making jokes, keeping the mood light. But off camera, he was dealing with years of health complications. His castmates took turns visiting him throughout his final years. They read him fan letters, brought signed photos, and reminisced about their favorite bloopers from the island. Even when speaking became difficult for him, just hearing their voices brought him comfort. Tina Louise, long considered the most mysterious member of the cast, carried a quiet truth that would surprise many fans. For years, rumors claimed she disliked her time on the show or felt trapped by the role. But later in life, she revealed a softer perspective. She said she always respected her castmates and, despite the misunderstandings, treasured the memories they created together. After Dawn Wells passed away, Tina publicly shared her heartbreak, calling her co-star a true friend from a very special time. It was the first time the world saw how deeply she had held onto those bonds. Perhaps the most emotional revelation came when old letters and notes exchanged among the cast resurfaced. These writings showed a side of them that never made headlines, encouraging words during difficult times, inside jokes, plans to reunite, and heartfelt messages when one of them fell ill. They weren't just co-workers. They were a family who carried each other through decades of life's hardest moments. And that is what fans never figured out. The real magic of Gilligan's Island wasn't the island at all. It was the people. Their affection for one another kept the show alive long after the cameras stopped rolling. Their struggles, their reunions, their losses, everything they lived through stayed rooted in a connection the world couldn't see, but could always feel. In the final years of their lives, as each star said goodbye one by one, they left behind something more powerful than any episode. They left a legacy built on loyalty, laughter, and love. And for the fans who grew up watching them get stranded week after week, those hidden truths make their story even more unforgettable.